I'm here with Allison Beula, writer, director, and choreographer of Tiki Bikini, Paradise Beach Party A Go-Go.
Very close. So close.
Don't worry, I'll type it up right.
Okay. Tiki Bikini Beach Paradise Party A Go-Go.
Thank
If you sing it long enough, it really flows off the tongue. You'll never get it wrong again. So.
Excellent. And tell me a little bit about your show.
Plot-wise, or
sure. Tell me about the inception of it and the plot.
The inception it's based on the beach party movies of the 1960s. So Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello started making beach party movies in 1960. Super low budget, ridiculously bad movies. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a beach party movie. Terrible. Stream of consciousness. They talk to the camera sometimes. People come running out of nowhere and run away, and you never see them again. The worst movies of all time, but somehow this was fascinating to me.
They have their own charm.
Yeah, I was like, these are so bad. It was like a car accident. I had to keep watching because I couldn't look away. But there is this amazing enthusiasm, like wicked cool bathing suits. All they want to do is rock out on the beach. And the thing that was cool about them is this is before MTV. Like, teens had no music videos to watch, so they'd go to the movies, and that's how they would see songs and people dancing to them. So it was like watching an MTV video with like a little bit of plot. And I was like, I can't believe no one's ever made that into a musical. That's amazing. And that was it. I just decided and did it.
Excellent. And you actually come from, at least from what I gather from the program, you come from more of a choreographer background, or you work principally as a choreographer.
Yep, that's right.
What were some of the challenges involved in translating or stepping outside of your norm and into such an expansive role as kind of the mother of this show?
It's funny. Right before the Fringe Festival started this summer, I read a very inflammatory article, I don't know if you saw it, by I can't remember which writer, about how you should never see a Fringe show where someone does all the jobs, right? If they've directed and choreographed it and done the costumes and the props, don't go. But that's the nature of Fringe, right? There's no budget. You're paying everything yourself, so I really had to do everything myself in order to even break even. That was it was practical. But I do direct. I love what I'm doing, and I felt I could do it. I just thought I know what I'm doing, and it made more sense to be cohesive all the way through. And I also thought this way, there's no blame. If the show goes well, it's totally because of me. If it does not go well, it's totally because of me, and there's no one at fault.
You don't ruin any friendships.
That's right. Yeah, I can't break up with myself. So.
There you go. Talk about a bit the writing process, because you've got some gloriously awesome, terrible jokes, so to speak.
Thank you. Yes, they are terrible, and I think they're hilarious.
They are. Tell me a bit about crafting that in terms of striking the balance between homage to the genre and the attention to detail that you put into really recreating the mood and the style and the conventions of the 60s surf movie, but while still creating an effective parody.
Oh, wow. That was a really well-worded question. Good for you. I'm going to interview you next. That was awesome. It was hard to find the balance because I really wanted this to be a loving parody. I didn't want it to be all eye roll, nudge, nudge, make fun of those beach movies, because they were pretty good. Like, if you condense the bad stuff out of them, there's some amazing dance numbers, amazing songs. People like Stevie Wonder and like famous musicians when they were 16, 17 years old got their starts on those movies. So there was a lot of credit given there. I stopped watching them about a year before I wrote it because I wanted to pull myself back out again. I knew them well enough, and then I didn't want a straight rip-off. I wanted to homage. So I studied a lot of things from the 60s, Scooby-Doo episodes, Archie comics, like you name it, just to kind of be influenced. And then, it wrote itself really well. Yeah, really, once I sort of knew my character names and the songs I was going to do, it pieced itself together really nicely, and I was really happy with the flow. And then I have amazing actors who are hilarious and brought characters that I already was fairly proud of to a whole new level with what they did and the choices they made.
It strikes me the cast is really a key component because, you talk about the youthful enthusiasm, the kind of naive youthful enthusiasm of the original movies, and you've got such an amazingly talented but quite a young cast.
Yep.
Tell me about where they come from, their origins, and the kind of the family that you've created?
I had the pleasure of, instead of auditioning for the show, I handpicked because I decided, Fringe, you don't know what's going to happen. If it doesn't go well, you don't want to work with people who are going to resent you. And if it goes well, I wanted people who really deserved a break. So I specifically picked people who I thought were on the cusp of their career, that, they didn't have the big time yet, but deserved a chance, and who would still love me if the chance didn't come. So that was important. 13 out of 14 of them I taught at the Randolph Academy. I was all of their teachers. And they were a collection of my favorite people. So when I knew I'd written a script that I was happy with, I literally called, ran into, emailed all people who I really liked working with. Kind of have a no asshole policy. If I don't like you, it wasn't going to happen for you. So, because again, Fringe, you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for the love. And I just wanted a nice group of people.
Perfect. Now, tell me a bit about, what's coming up next for you? Do you have any, now that this is taken off in a big way, you're definitely going to get a little more attention regardless of what you do next. Do you have any plans in mind?
I do, but to be honest, I've decided in the past, because I'm an independent contractor, I work in the arts, I'm always doing 7 projects at once, which I currently am. I'm teaching and, working on a few other projects. This is my labor of love, and I'm trying to really see it through first. So a lot of people said, are you writing something else? Or my only focus is Tiki right now in terms of my own personal project. I have started drafting other songs, and there is an extended script, and I'm kind of holding on to that to the time that perhaps someone may want it, i.e. they buy it.
Yep.
So I'm kind of trying not to move on to the next thing yet. I'm trying to see Tiki down the waves if I can.
Yep, get it till it's 18 and got a job.
That's
kick it out
right.
the door.
That's exactly the perfect analogy. Because I feel like if I didn't keep loving it right now, it wouldn't get all my attention, and I feel that it needs it. It's a big job, and there's a lot of cast and a lot of band. They need the attention.
Yeah. Speaking of band, most Fringe musicals typically have kind of maybe percussion and a keyboardist, if that. Tell me a bit about your musicians.
My musicians are amazing. They're the Von Drats. It's a very long story, but the short version is my boyfriend and I were having a few drinks one night at a fundraiser, and I had already written the show. The Fringe had already said, how many in your band? And I guessed, and I said, well, 5. I had no band. I just thought that sounded right, and I was going to piece it together. And we're having a few drinks, and my boyfriend yells, you need to come here now. And he says, I just met this guy. Guess what he does? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, he's in a band. I'm like, okay. He's like, he's in a vintage 60s surf band. Unbelievable. This was maybe March or April. So I was starting to run out of time. And I was like, how many people in your band? 5. Oh my God. So I give him my business card. I assume I'll never hear from him again. First thing in the morning, email, hey Allison, we already know those beach party songs. We love the movies. We're in. What do you need? Total stranger. Became great friends. That was the greatest piece of luck I think I've ever had in my life.
Sounds like the Tiki gods were smiling.
Tiki gods were smiling. That was a big time coup. And they are wonderful. They're a bar band. They've never accompanied singers in their life. First rehearsal, bit scary. They blew the walls down in volume, and I'm like, oh, that singers are going to be trying to be heard, and we can't mic because we have 15 minutes to set up, and sometimes people complain to me. They're like, well, we're having trouble hearing. I'm like, we have about 9 minutes by the time the costumes get on to set up. There is no time for mic, so I actually, as of tonight, I feel we found the perfect balance, so we're really happy with it.
Excellent. Well, all the best to your continued success.
Thank
Please
you.
keep
You
us
too.
posted when you, when the next step happens.
You got it. Your listeners will get tickets. I'm telling you.
Excellent.
Thanks, Session.
Thanks.
Okay.